noise of the few noisy people. Chand pe bhi daag hai. You know, so there's a little kind of thing that happens in every moment. But that I expected and I don't like, I'm not surprised by it. Neetu Aunty and Ranbir are very, very similar in that sense. Like, they're very positive, happy people and they don't get too stressed out or too hyper about anything. I will never forget that moment because he was crying, wearing a cap, which I found really very, very sweet, of course. But Karan and I sit and laugh about it today. One will always remember those moments when you're sharing such a big news with them. They rely on each other deeply. And it's also because there's a deep friendship. And I just found that's why I genuinely, at the heart of it, I feel Darlings is a mother-daughter story.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Rachit Gupta. Joining me for a conversation today is Alia Bhatt. We're going to be talking about her new film Darlings, and it's going to be exciting. I've watched the film, I've had the privilege to do it, so let's just jump into it. Hi Alia, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good as well. So Alia, we're talking about Darlings. Let me just start off with a little bit of not a crooked question, but a different sort of a question. Who are your darlings from the Bhatt and Kapoor families and why?
I mean, it'll be difficult for me to pick any of them as being the only darlings, because I think they're all darlings.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go the diplomatic route and say all of them.
Okay, cool. Alia, you know, having watched Darlings, there are so many parallels that I could see in this film with your own personal life. You know, there's a relationship, there is motherhood, there's a genuine mother-daughter dynamic that happens between you and Shefali ma'am. So, how much of these similarities between the film and your life are coincidence, and how much is it a direct influence of who you are?
None of it is a similarity. I mean, relationships cannot be similarities. They're completely different people, completely different worlds, completely different dynamics. So in fact, I see nothing of myself in my character. It's a totally fresh perspective and a completely fresh personality that I had to sort of adapt and, you know, get into. Of course, there were many learnings. Yeah, you may say like the mother-daughter relationship is sort of similar everywhere, all around the world. You have this similar kind of relationship with your mother where it's a friendship, but then there's this bickering, and then there's layers of like role reversal of one. Sometimes you're the mother, sometimes she's the mother, sometimes you're the daughter, sometimes she's the daughter. All those little things. But that is also meant to be similar to not just me, but to the audience watching it, so they can relate to the dynamic.
I have to tell you, at one of some scenes in the film with the ambient and mood lighting, you look a lot like your mother.
Yes.
And I think it's in your house where there's a really purple and bluish sort of lighting.
Yes.
And I was like, oh God.
Strangely, she was on set that day when we were shooting.
Okay.
And I remember even at that time, our DOP, Anil Mehta, said that you're looking exactly like Soni. So I was like, yeah, I get that a lot, especially when I wear Indian clothes. People say that I look like my mother.
There's a very interesting dynamic to your character in Darlings. You know, she's always wanting to give a chance to a relationship.
Yeah.
And in doing so, she is brushing a lot of stuff under the carpet. So, and you know, and that's sadly probably a reality for a lot of women in real India and the real world as well.
Yeah.
But you know, I always feel, Alia, that our generation, somehow probably maybe they don't sort of identify with that.
Correct.
So do you sort of agree to that?
But they may not identify with it, but they may empathize with it.
True.
Because, see, I may not, like I said, I am not like Badru. I am not the kind of personality that she is. But it really pains me to know that there are people like that who are so fearful of living their life alone, for example. That's the biggest fear, okay? How will I do everything alone? And more than anything, it's just like there's a certain underdog spirit that everyone identifies with, even if they're underdogs or not, even if they're those kind of people or not. You naturally just feel for the underdog, or you just naturally feel for the person who's on the back foot. So they may not identify with it, but they may empathize with it. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what we want the people to feel.
Your character does deal with a sort of abusive relationship. So what do you feel in real life? How should a woman react to an abusive relationship or an abusive partner?
it's very difficult to say. It's very, very difficult to say how they should. I think first what they should do is separate themselves, and I think that's what we're trying to say through the film, that you have your own identity, you have your own needs, and what tends to happen is in society, we kind of say that, oh, we need to put others, our partner's need before us or our loved one's need before us. And I'm saying this is a representation of an abusive relationship as a man and wife, two partners. But sometimes it happens in other dynamics as well, in general. Abuse of any kind, violence of any kind, when seen, when inflicted, when dealt with, is not okay. It's just not right. It's not permittable. But it takes a long time for people to understand that those who they love and may love them, being violent doesn't mean that they don't love them anymore. So there's a dynamic, like even Jasmeet says, like our director, that they maybe are a couple who love each other a lot. Maybe he actually does love her. But it's a personality that he can't help but that, well, he's a bit true.
Yeah.
He can help it, of course he can help it, but he's just that personality. So for how long are you going to neglect that or try and defend that? Self-respect, self-awareness that it's not your fault, A, that it's not something that you're doing wrong, B, and that it's not something that you need to tolerate. People just assume that ye hota hai, just go with it and just suck it up. Arey, but why? There's no need. You have one life. So I think that's a basic sort of, these few things that people just need to first understand, and then the way they respond to it will always be, it'll never be the same for everyone. But at some point they should respond to it.
In the film, your mother, played by Shefali Shah, she's always at your case, she's always sort of pushing you in that direction to respond. So have you sort of ever had a similar sort of situation with your mother as well, Soni? She's pushing you in a certain direction, do these kind of roles, take these kind of films as well?
No, never.
No?
My mum has actually never pushed me to do anything. She's extremely, she just really lets me be. And I guess the only thing she'll push for maybe is like health, in the health department. Like if she feels like I'm not taking care of myself or I'm not resting enough, and she will constantly push me to take this medicine or push me to see this doctor or push me to do that. And I'm always like, it'll sort itself out. I don't want to take too many medicines and we'll see. But that I understand. Like she's just trying to, it's just her instinct to protect me as much as possible.
Right.
But otherwise, she's extremely relaxed and she just totally lets me be.
Okay. And after marriage, has Neetu ji taken over that role for you?
Not at all.
No?
Even she is just like super chill.
Yeah.
Neetu Aunty and Ranbir are very, very similar in that sense. Like they're very positive, happy people, and they don't get too stressed out or too hyper about anything. So even if I'm not well, theek hai, take care, do this, have natural things. My mom and Neetu Aunty, they're both very, very healthy people. So they're always encouraging like healthy, new healthy habits or new healthy concoctions, just for us as a family. Like they keep like introducing it to us. So in that sense, like I think everybody's pretty much on the same page. And there's no, like I said, there's no overbearing feeling at all from anyone's side to anyone. Okay.
I'll come back to Neetu ma'am and Rishi sir later on, but I have to ask you this, motherhood, which is a central theme in your film, it's a very sort of intimate and personal feeling, which you obviously know in real life as well. But, Badru's experience of motherhood is very naive. She's very hopeful that it'll probably change the dynamics of her relationship as well. So, do you feel that is the right way of dealing with motherhood, that the way Badru does? And how close is that to your own sort of...
You mean the way she deals with her mother?
No, with her experience of motherhood.
Oh, that's a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
I don't think we can even... There's no should, could, would. I can't even elaborate on that. That's one of the... that's the most traumatic experience anyone can experience. I would rather comment on the way Badru and Shamshu together kind of, like I said, mother each other. There are moments where you don't even realize who's the mother. Like, that's just how... And sometimes Shamshu says things that are so not mother-like. But it's a total hatke kind of, response to a situation. But that's what I find extremely lovely, because they're so honest. And I think there's nothing more genuine in terms of finding like a true dynamic with anybody in your family. There's no better way to do it than honesty, than being extremely honest about who you are and what your wants and dreams are. Like, if you see their dynamic, they share everything with each other.
True.
And like, they rely on each other deeply. And it's also because there's a deep friendship. And I just found that's why I genuinely, at the heart of it, I feel Darlings is a mother-daughter story.
It is. Speaking about honest actors as well, Vijay Varma.
Yeah.
You worked with him in Gully Boy. Now
Yes.
This is your second time. How honest is he as a performer? And he's really menacing in the film.
Yeah.
So how much do you appreciate him as an artist, and what sort of...
Immensely. And he's such a trooper. Like, he's just always all for making the shot really, really come to life. So there's a section, there's a shot even in the film where we're guzzling down alcohol down his throat. And I remember I had to do that shot. I was so nervous because I was like, listen, it's such an awkward position where we're making him drink this thing. And he was going all... And I was like, is he actually feeling it or is he purposely doing it? I'm not understanding. And he was coughing after every shot. But I was like, are you hamming or are you overdoing it, or you're doing it like authentically? Because I'm getting scared. And he's like, don't worry, I'm a little bit like, I'm like hyping it a little bit. And I just found that so like, he was so dedicated. He didn't really think about, oh my God, like what's going to happen to me, like he's really, I mean, of course, safety most important, but he's very all out, or like all in or nothing. So that's what I love about him, that he totally goes all in when he comes onto set.
Okay.
And he leaves like no stone unturned when he's performing. And like that's why he is a chameleon. He fits into every character.
Interesting moment between you and Vijay Varma at the beginning of the film when he gives you
the teddy. So I have a question on this as well. This is one of the motives of your relationship. You know how sort of even the teddy has sort of a journey within the film. So tying this to Ranbir now, but when Ranbir sort of proposed to you like Vijay Varma did in the film, did he sort of give you something like this? Is there like a token of love between the two of you? No.
No?
No.
Okay. In one of your recent interviews, you've said a very interesting line, Alia. You said that greatness just happens. You can't plan for it.
The great things in
life happen. You can't plan for them. But then there is also the case of the power of manifestation. Do you believe in that?
Well, what is manifestation? I mean, I'm not somebody who wakes up every day and manifests. Like, I'm not thinking about it every day. I'm not saying it out loud. I'm not saying it to myself. But yeah, you can say that there is power in believing that it'll work out, power of hope, power of believing. I think sometimes that is something that is much more powerful just to get, because see, life is hard. Like, to get through life in general is just like, okay, listen, every day is not a sunny day. Like, sometimes it's raining and you still need to get through those days, and the only way you'll be able to do it is to believe. And I believe like the best, that's what I say, I believe the best things, the great things in life happen when they're least expected. And even if something bad is happening to you in that moment, or something not pleasant is happening, it's happening for a reason. These are the two things I keep saying to myself, that everything happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason. And ghoom fir ke, when I look back, I'm like, this happened so that this could happen, so that this could happen, and then that's why this happened. So I'm not somebody who sits and manifests, but I just think I believe very, very, very strongly. And, but you still don't get everything. Like, I may, before a film release that maybe did not do well, maybe believing very strongly that it should do very, very well, and it doesn't. But that doesn't mean my manifestation didn't work. It means the film didn't work. So sometimes it's not in your control. But you need belief to get you through the day. And you need belief to get you through tough moments in life. So don't give that up, I guess.
Was it tough to deal with all the reactions and the noise when you came out as a mother, when you made the official announcement?
Not at all. It was beautiful. I think there was so much love, and there was so much positivity, and there was so much warmth, And when you're talking about that noise of the few noisy people, that I expected, because everything has something, you know, every beautiful moment has a little bit, like Chand pe bhi daag hai, you know, so there's a little kind of thing that happens in every moment. But that I expected, and I'm not surprised by it, or neither am I bothered by it, because I find it kind of originating from an extremely shallow, stupid space, if I may say so. But yeah, I think I remember only the good things, and there was, like I said, there was so much love, and there still is so much love and positivity. So why not focus on that as opposed to focusing on a few nonsensical eyebrows?
Right. I have to go for a positive thing. When I was interviewing Karan recently for Coffee with Karan, he said something really nice, that reacting to your pregnancy, he said his baby is having a baby.
Yeah.
And how that makes him so emotional.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel? Sharing that emotion with Karan.
I will never forget that moment because he was crying, wearing a cap, which I found really very, very sweet, of course. But Karan and I sit and laugh about it today. But of course, I think everybody, all your loved ones in your life, one will always remember those moments when you're sharing such a big news with them, and how they all responded, and how everybody felt. These are memories for life, you know. I mean, that's what we are. Like, we are all basically an amalgamation of our memories.
True. It's true. One final question, Alia. When you sort of look back, it's almost 10 years now?
10 years this year, yes.
So you started off with this really sort of reticent, maybe not reticent, but somebody who was, you know, you were roasted as an actress, you know, you made those AIB videos. But over this journey, you've sort of blossomed into one of the best actresses in the country, probably in the world, if I may say so.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
And you are now turning a producer with Darlings as well. There is a genuine evolution that we see. How do you see this journey, this growth? You know, there's so many roles that you do now.
Well, I see it as a very important part of who I am today. Like, I always, if anybody asks me, would you go back and change anything or anything that you regret? I genuinely have no regrets. I have nothing that I would change, because the person I am today is because of all the steps that I have taken for the last, how many ever years. I'm 29 now. And yeah, I feel very grateful that I am, I have a voice that can now put together content. I don't need, I mean, I can fuel creative ideas that come to me from new directors, from new writers, and I can give them a platform. That's a beautiful position to be in, and a very responsible position, but I feel very responsible for it. And it's a totally new journey that I'm really deeply, very excited by and looking forward to. And yeah, I think in general, I'm very grateful for all the work that I've gotten, but I've worked really, really hard. Hard work is a given in any field. So I definitely feel that none of this was achievable without that blood, sweat and tears and sleepless nights that I have endured, but every moment was worth it. And now, yeah, it's a totally new journey of like building my production house, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, I can't like wait to start putting out more content.
And we'll hope there's more content like Darlings from Alia Bhatt. And on that note, thank you so much, Alia.
Thank you.
All right, and best of luck for the film.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.